Press the bell icon on the YouTube app to never miss a video from Newslaundry.
Welcome to Newslaundry Chhota Hafta. For the full episode, subscribe because it is behind the paywall and only subscribers get access to uncut, complete content. Newslaundry Hafta is our weekly wrap of all that made the news, all that didn't, and all that should have and all that shouldn't have. We agree, we disagree, we critique, and occasionally we beat each other up. But it's all good fun. Subscribe.
This is a Newslaundry podcast and you're listening to NL Hafta.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. Different voice today. Yes. I'm Meghnad.
Your host away.
Yes. You're host for this week because Abhinandan is away to Colombia, right?
Yeah, he's in Colombia.
He's part of an event called Our Tech Futures in Columbia University in collaboration with Observer Research Foundation. And our guest today is also from a senior fellow from Observer Research Foundation. Hi, Maya.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
So Ashoka University.
Also Ashoka. So I'm going to introduce you first. So we have with us Maya Mirchandani. She's a senior fellow at Observer Research Foundation and assistant professor of broadcast journalism and media studies at Ashoka University. She has been a journalist with NDTV for 25 years.
Yeah, 22 with NDTV and 3 idhar-udhar.
3
idhar-udhar.
Fair.
Wow, that's a long...
And Maya has won the Ramnath Goenka Award twice. Yeah. Okay. And she, for excellence in journalism. And she has the Red Ink Award as well. And other than that, she hosts a weekly show with The Wire called The Wide Angle. Yeah. What is your show about?
Well, it's basically... whatever I feel like talking about with whoever I feel like talking about. It's not been weekly for the last few months because I've had a lot of other work, so I've been a bit tied up. But broadly, foreign policy, security, politics.
Right.
Sometimes something random like an art show, whatever I feel like talking about.
So welcome.
That's what's called wide angle. It doesn't tie me down.
It's too wide.
Smartly named.
So welcome, Maya.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Then we have Raman sir.
Hi.
And we have Manisha.
Hello.
And it's just 4 of us today.
Yes,
to
just
the
4 of
Hafta.
us. Yeah.
So we are going to start with headlines first.
Yeah, let's begin quickly with just quick update with everything that's happened over the week. There was a lot of furor after Amit Shah declared that the nation needed to be unified and it can only be unified through one nation. I'm paraphrasing.
One language.
He didn't exactly say that. Lest I start getting tweets like, oh, misquote kar diya, anti-national. But basically he emphasized the need for one language and he said that Hindi could be that language. This was on the Hindi Divas. This obviously sparked a big controversy. Tripura CM Biplab Kumar Dev also joined it and said that those who oppose Hindi as common language do not love India. So, और कुछ बचा ही नहीं. Yediyurappa said that won't compromise on Kannada's importance. So there
Yediyurappa opposed it. Right?
Yeah, he was not very happy with that. And of course, the Kerala CM also said that's an absurd idea that Hindi would unify India. In the Tabriz Ansari case, after some relentless reporting by a lot of people, including Indian Express, that punched holes in the police's charge sheet and spoke to doctors, they've put back the cases of the sections of murder in this case, section 302, which were earlier dropped. So that's one good impact. There's a slowdown. GDP growth at 5% came as a surprise, said RBI Governor Shanti Kanta Das.
Shakti Kanta Das. So he was surprised that GDP is 5%. Yeah. And today he has called the latest announcement a bold move. Which the finance minister has cut down the corporate taxes. So he called it a bold move.
I think Harish Salve had some very interesting comments to make on this. He blamed the Supreme Court for the current slowdown in India and the blanket cancelling of the 122 spectrum licenses. So that was, I think it's a very interesting interview for those of you who'd want to read it. There's a link below. Centre's announced rupees 100 crore special window to extend funding for stalled housing projects.
10,000 crore.
Oh, 10,000. Sorry, rupees 10,000 crore. And government has stepped in to revive economy cosmetically and in a piecemeal way. Congress shot back at Nirmala Sitharaman for not doing enough. Kashmir continues to be news, and I guess it's going to be news for, I think, the rest of the year. J&K leaders will be freed in less than 18 months. Jitendra Singh, MOS, said that. Yashwant S. Sinha was there and he was not allowed to... He landed in Srinagar, but he was not allowed to step out and he had to board a flight back to Delhi. And he said he's been forcibly sent back to Delhi from Srinagar. Farooq Abdullah was detained under draconian PSA. Ranjan Gogoi, on the allegations of being denied access, says that if needed, will go to Jammu and Kashmir High Court. Modi asked me to make J&K shine so much that people from POK will want to cross over. Satyapal Malik said that.
Yeah.
So lots of stuff. Something that created a bit of controversy was Malala's support for Kashmir.
Yeah, she tweeted it out.
As she tweeted that out, she got a lot of flack for it. Everyone said, please talk about Pakistan first.
She got flack from Pakistan and from India.
Yeah, Pakistan she gets only usually, but people who like her in India also got upset. Then the Gates Foundation is going to be awarding Narendra Modi this week, right? For Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. 2 participants pulled out of the ceremony, but the Gates Foundation stands by their award. The 2 participants is Jamila Jamil, she's an actress, and the other guy is Riz Ahmed, who's also a very famous actor and a singer. He's part of a band that I really like. Howdy Modi is making a lot of news. It's called Sweat Shop Boys, no? Pet Shop Boys or Sweat Shop Boys?
You really like that band,
I really
Manisha?
like it, but I know this. I know the song that I like, so I always like Google the song and I don't like look at the band. Anyway, Howdy Modi is making a lot of news. I think the next 2 days are going to be about Howdy Modi. We're going to see all of that take over news. This week, what made a lot of news was also Prime Minister Narendra Modi's birthday, which was celebrated with much gusto. I think there was wall-to-wall coverage, 24/7 from morning to evening. Channels were discussing his birthday.
You have much to say about that.
I have much to say about that. And there's been a lot of rainfall in Houston, apparently. There's been thunderstorm and rainfall, and it's kind of...
And the event is supposed to happen in a stadium, if I'm not wrong.
So it's creating a bit of an issue there.
Amazing. I love that. And then there are other headlines which I'll just quickly read out and then we will start. So yesterday, Babul Supriyo was allegedly manhandled in Jadavpur. That is one more story. Then Chinmayanand, who was accused of rape, has been arrested. Then government has issued an ordinance on e-cigarettes. Income tax has served a notice to the first family of India, which is Reliance.
This was very curious. I think
Act.
Raman sir would have things to say about this case.
Then there is a bunch of other things like Uttarakhand may implement NRC, which is the 4th state to back Assam citizens list.
This is very faltu. Someone from Uttarakhand, as I am, it's the most useless thing to say. Like, there are lots of issues in Uttarakhand that we need to deal with.
Yeah.
NRC should be the last on our
There have been some pictures that have come out. I think Indian Express reported it, of the detention camps also they are making now for these people.
Apparently they have recreational facilities in the detention camps.
Yeah. And there are hospitals and schools also inside. So basically they're building cities now, I guess.
So they can't live on the land that they were living on, but they'll be allocated
a separate
land.
Yeah, separate land, yeah. Then there is Hindu Sena blackens signboard on Babar Road, wants it to be renamed after a great Indian. So these are the things that have happened last week.
It should just be called a Great Indian.
Great Indian. I would like to remind the listeners to pay to keep news free, because we do not take money from any advertisers or corporates or the government. So we depend on you completely. We depend on you for our bread and butter. And we depend on you to keep running and to keep our lights on. So please pay to keep news free. And since you have paid to keep news free and probably access this podcast completely, please tell your friends to also pay to keep news free and listen to the full episode of Hafta, because there will be some people who will be listening to the Chhota Hafta, which is free. So please come listen to the full Hafta as well. First, we will start with Maya, because she has recently returned from Jammu and Kashmir. So can you tell us since when you have been there, for how long?
I was there for about 4 days last week.
Last week.
Yeah. I didn't stay in the hotel where all the journalists are staying. There's a couple of them. Okay. I stayed instead with some friends, just to get a sense of how regular people are getting on with their daily lives as well. So there's a couple of very interesting tidbits of information. One is that things are pretty calm. So there's an absence of violence, which of course in Delhi, we want to translate to mean that, oh, things are normal because, there's no stone pelting on the street. But that's not really normal. Everything is shut from the people's side. So government has opened schools, it's opened offices, it's opened everything. But people are just saying ki we are not going.
I was reading that there was some very ridiculous 0.9% attendance in all schools that was recorded.
Yeah, so there was apparently one day where there was some exam that had taken place, and so that day some children had gone for the exam, and then some schools are starting some admissions process for the coming year. So you saw on the Saturday when we were actually driving past Rainawadi, going towards the university, we found one school and we saw a bunch of cars in the parking lot. We said, oh, there are children, let's go in and see what's going on. Right. But actually it was just some parents who had come to pick up some admission forms for...
So all schools are shut?
Well, schools are open.
But nobody's going.
But neither teacher nor student is going.
That's insane.
But teachers are also not going?
No.
Teachers are also locals.
Teachers are also locals. Yeah. So, the thing is, now there are two aspects. One says that we are obviously, after that shopkeeper was killed in Srinagar and that apple trader was killed in Sopore, people are afraid. There are flyers that go up in Srinagar. Someone said that they were quoting Lashkar to say ki, you better stay in and things like that. But I think that it's a little more complicated than that the people who've really been at the receiving end or impacted by this decision on Article 370 is not the separatists, because 370 was not their fight. Yeah. So it is the mainstream, the guy who goes to vote in the elections, whether it's for the PDP or the NC. They are not the kinds who are going out to pelt stones in any case. Right. So they really feel that...
Betrayed.
Yeah, betrayed. Yeah. I mean, to put it really crudely, one person told me, he said it literally like this, पहले तो शर्ट भी नहीं थी, अब तो पैंट भी उतार दिया आप लोगों ने. And so that's the sense of, has anyone told you we feel shame, we feel humiliated, we feel betrayed? And I kept asking, but who are you feeling betrayed by? Are you feeling betrayed by India, or are you feeling betrayed by your own leadership? And I think that's a slightly complicated question for them to answer.
Their own leadership is in jail.
But that's the saving grace for the leaders.
Yeah, that's the saving grace for the leaders, you're right. So the thing is that I think they are not the kinds who will come out to protest. So the only way they know how to express their displeasure is ki bhai hum nahi jayenge. So it's kind of partly civil disobedience, partly hartal, partly defiance, partly fear. Right.
But then
all kind of mixed up.
What about their basic needs, right? Grocery shops, medicine shops.
Those are running. So essential businesses, so kirani ki dukan, grocery, sabzi mil rahi hai on radies, things like that. Mornings and evenings, things open.
Right.
Medicine shops are generally open through the day.
Right.
In the daytime, sometimes you'll find vegetable vendors having set up on the footpath, right, just for a couple of hours, and so people can buy essential.
And hospitals, access to hospitals
are open.
But for instance, there was this.
So traffic is moving. Hospitals are open. I think the barricades and all that were there in the first couple of weeks. See, I've also gone about 5-6 weeks after this has happened. Yeah. So what it was like in the first 2-3 weeks, I don't know. But there's been an easing of movement. So the barricades and the security checks and all only come out at night.
Right.
Because there are different versions to every story, but this idea that mobile phones are not working, it's an impediment to the public, but it actually seems to be working out well for separatists and militants, because they are roaming around freely. Nobody is tapping their phones. Nobody knows where they are. The informant network has completely dried up. So, agar koi informer bhi hai, jo security walon ko batayega ki, we saw so and so, they are not being able to call, because, even if the security guy say, chalo, we'll make sure your cell phone is working, they say, boss, no, thank you.
So this is actually counterproductive.
Yeah. So in fact, that's
that's a story that Times of India also did, right? That there's been increase in infiltration because
the state guys are saying ki open the cell phones. The center is saying abhi nahi. Yeah, so they're doing it in some phased, calibrated manner. So I think there's a little bit of a conflict of interest on that between state and center. Other than that, it's like, it's calm, but it's not happy. So there's no violence, but it's not peaceful.
Let's move on to e-cigarettes. I just want to hear everybody's views on what do they think about this coming out of nowhere. Literally, they were like, e-cigarettes ban, right? Like, and they passed an ordinance on it, which I have some stuff to say, which I will add later. But what do you guys think? Like, is this a good move? Do you know what e-cigarettes are? Even like, I was talking to my parents actually, and I was calling them, and my mom recently went into the final round of Kaun Banega Crorepati or something.
Wow.
So she's
a participant.
So she's in the final round. She's waiting for that final call to come in so that she can go to the studio.
Okay, wow.
So she's like, by bated
She's
breath, she's waiting
on her general knowledge and also.
So she's preparing like an IAS candidate right now. It's very crazy because every time I talk to her, she like gives me like this random bunch of information about something that is happening or something. So suddenly she's like, e-cigarettes ban ho gaye. So I'm like, yeah. It's like, acha, tell me, what are e-cigarettes वैसे? So I said, they're battery operated and whatever. So she's like, acha, but like, are they like, do you not burn them? So I said, no. I was like, where does the heat come from? I said, I don't know how it works. There's a mechanism inside which you use it, etc. So she's like, acha, so there is this, neighbor of ours who used to vape. And then he gave up beach mein and he went back to cigarettes. So everybody was trying to get him off cigarettes again, and so he took up vaping again, and so this got banned during that time. So she's like, so this neighbor of ours who wanted to quit, he started doing that thing again, and I always used to wonder, what is this thing? So now I know that is banned. So like, yeah. So but it's true that a lot of people don't know what e-cigarettes are, or even if they've been defined anywhere yet. Do you guys know?
I mean, vaping,
You were also asking in the morning, is it different from vaping?
There's a name for that.
Is it different from vaping?
So
no, it is
the same thing, right? Yeah,
exactly.
It's the
same thing. So vaping, the vaping term comes from vapor.
Where
the e-cigarettes will have vapor.
Apparently,
and flavor.
that's much more harmful in terms of the nicotine you take in than the cigarette. I don't know. I think all tobacco. I mean,
That
even
is
tobacco should be banned.
No, that is it. There are two aspects to
I
this.
think
One
all smoking is bad.
All these e-cigarette manufacturers, they were telling the public that it is not harmful. Okay, it is less harmful than the other ones, which is not true. Yeah. Okay, so this campaign, yes, definitely bogus campaign, and people have been. I mean, it was one of the market tactics to sell your product, but banning it.
But the other thing also,
the second aspect is banning. The banning it is quite weird. It is really weird. Because why it is weird? Because 10 lakh, according to WHO study, 10 lakh people die every year because of smoking.
Right.
And there are only 7 certified deaths by the
e-cigarette
in the US.
Oh yeah.
Not even one.
Yeah.
So you are going against e-cigarette, but you are not going against the the other cigarette industry. So this is quite a hypocrisy in that way.
And the other pitch that these e-cigarette companies were making is, weirdly enough, is that if you want to quit smoking, this is a good way to do it, because you can switch over to vaping, and then basically it's not as harmful as
rubbish.
But again, like that's the thing. I was trying to read up and trying to find out more information on whether it's harmful, whether it's not harmful.
I have a different question to this, which is that why would you ban e-cigarettes if you want to? That's fine. But why would you not then ban tobacco?
Exactly my point.
Because you are at least simulating tobacco in it. It's not like another product. E-cigarettes also contain tobacco.
Nicotine. They have nicotine in it. Some versions have nicotine in it. But my whole point was that. Because e-cigarettes is such a recent phenomenon, there have not been as many studies done on it, whether it's harmful or not, as has been done on tobacco.
Yeah,
right?
US FDA keeps coming. They have done a lot of not work, I'll say, but
Right.
they have written a lot on this.
But
And
the other weird part is that a lot of e-cigarette companies are owned by tobacco companies. Like ITC, Philip Morris has investments in e-cigarette companies, etc. And the other thing about why I find this weird, and there was this article in Indian Express, which was like the biggest beneficiary of this move is the government. Because the government has apparently 28.64% investment in ITC. And
that's nice to know.
It's a state-owned, through state-owned PSUs, out of which LIC is 16.3%, general insurance is 1.73%. And it's so weird where you're selling an insurance, health insurance.
LIC is essentially health insurance.
Yeah.
Which is, and
in a
like
single
putting
day, they
into
made crores
ITC.
of rupees
Exactly.
because the ITC shares
went
they
up.
just went up.
Went crazy.
And LIC was facing a lot of issues
So
also
now we
with regard
perhaps
to all
know
the...
why they're not banning tobacco.
Banning tobacco.
Abroad.
We will but move on to Jadavpur now. Jadavpur, so for the listeners, yesterday there were some horrifying visuals that came on TV and everywhere about Babul Supriyo, who visited Jadavpur University in Calcutta, and then a bunch of students gherawed him and heckled him and pulled his hair and pinched him or whatever. And then after that, towards the night, some ABVP students stormed Jadavpur and they started burning shit and spray painting their buildings with ABVP on it and purifying it or whatever. But another thing that I heard was that students were not allowed to come out of their classrooms. They were sealed in by these ABVP students. So the whole arts faculty building was sealed in because it was surrounded by these people, etc., while they were breaking shit. So that is what happened in Jadavpur University. Now, different versions are coming out about this. So Babul Supriyo went out on news channels and said that he was heckled and, the hair
What
was
started
pulled
it?
and-
Does anyone know what led
So
to this?
Telegraph has this sequence of events about what happened. So Babul Supriyo was a chief guest at an event which was being organized by ABVP, and he went there and there were a few people who were protesting about the NRC and Kashmir and everything under the sun, and they were calling him fascist. And then he went for the event and the VC said, wait till things calm down, then I'll take you to the hall, etc. He's like, no, I'm not a coward, I'm going now. So then when he went out and went to the hall, they had like security and whatever. He went there. After the event, when he came out, the crowd had swelled and it had become huge. And that is when he tried to talk to the people. The students gathered and said, I've come here, we can talk. Why are you like protesting like this, etc. And in the process, he ended up mocking a few students that tumko to NRC ka full form bhi pata nahi hai, to tum kya protest kar rahe ho types. And now there is reports about some sexist remarks that were made as well.
Some videos of him telling the girls to fuck off or
and
something.
then
like
on
that.
top of it, he called the VC a leftist guy, and that's why he's not
he kind
protecting
of like,
him. Then the governor of West Bengal suddenly turned up in JU to escort him out because he heard that the situation is bad. And now the media has made it a thing that, the governor had to go, it was so bad. And then why did Mamata Banerjee not go? Why didn't the police go? Then there was this other part about how the VC does not allow the police to come inside. So the governor had to bring like plainclothes policemen with him to control the
God.
situation.
I think like if they had to protest, the students could have just done it peacefully. It's not on to like manhandle someone. Or
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
you just, and in fact
and they
something...
get very rowdy.
JNU is very good at that, like even the ABP there is so well behaved. Even when they want to protest, they will, just at least like 10 years ago, they would just take out like the black flags and just stand there.
But are
Just
we
to
sure
say that,
it happened? I mean, was he heckled? Do we
There
have
are
videos?
There are
of
videos of him being
being
like pulled and pushed and
pushed
whatever.
around.
Yeah,
But there's a
that's not. I
crowd.
agree with you. That's not like on. I think
I know, it's
students
not.
also have to learn to protest peacefully.
Yeah.
I think we're in a like strange place. Everybody's always angry and angst-ridden all the time about everything. It's like, calm down, take a step back. Life is not social media. Life is not Twitter. Get off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that is it for Hafta. Please, guys, if you have feedback on this episode and if you do not like my hosting or if you like Manisha's hosting, please.
I think everyone likes Abhinandan's hosting. You should just come back.
Yeah, that's true.
And not
That's
go.
true, guys,
Or he should
that's
not
true.
go. Or he should just plan his travels around Hafta.
Yeah, or do
Thursday
his
to
haftas
Thursday.
there.
Right,
Write to us on contact@newslaundry.com, please. Please tell people about this podcast and please rate us on wherever you listen to your podcast. Give us 5-star. I mean, that goes without saying because we're awesome. And please also, you can find our podcasts on Castbox as well. Now we are on Castbox. And the fun thing is that on Castbox, you can pay us separately because we are behind a paywall. So you don't have to go to our website and go through a paywall. On Castbox, you can directly give money to us and listen to the complete Hafta. Other than that, if also check out our other podcast, Reporters Without Orders, Awful and Awesome. We do this daily podcast called Daily Dose, where we tell you quickly in 8 to 10 minutes what has been the day's news of the day, and it's a very good podcast. Please do listen to it and also rate these podcasts so that we can do more podcasts and give you more awesome things. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
so
Thanks a lot.
Sun liya Afrika, mufat khoron. Not to brag or anything, but Newslaundry Hafta features in the top 50 in the world on SoundCloud in the news and politics category for podcasts. So do subscribe and see what you're missing, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Subscribe, help keep news independent and free. All Newslaundry podcasts are available on iTunes and Stitcher and any other podcast platform.